Hello, floofs. Yes, you are seeing this correctly. Today's the day we put and paint Ezra together. Of course, we have to have the design. So here's the design of Ezra. Hopefully you can see that. So that is turning into this. And so I'm going to take you through the entire process of painting it. And we're going to have so much fun. We're going to glue all these together at the end. And I'll show you the end result. Let's get into it. So, getting into Dino Mask painting, I decided to sand the mask first to make sure that the paint stays extra firm and that none of it chips off. After applying 2 rounds of acrylic gesso, I decided it was time to do the base of the mouth. I always put my design in front of me just so I can match the colors correctly and it looks like I want it to in the end. Put a small container in between the gap in the mouth so that it stays open and it's easier to paint the jaw. I decided to start with a nice light beige brown and then mix it into a yellow to create an ombre effect. When I'm creating an ombre, I like to make it when the paint is still wet so that I can blend the colors in nicely and it looks very natural and very smooth. I usually go in with a small brush and make sure that everything blends correctly and that none of the color is splotched on. I prefer to go small amounts of paint at a time and then layer it up so it looks nice and natural. Of course, I have to avoid the jaw strap to make sure the paint job is nice and smooth and I don't get any on the black. I decided to go for more a yellow tone so that it blends with the jaw without actually matching the exact same colors. Here is the bottom part of the jaw. Let's move on to the top half. I did the same effect here, but started out with a more brownish version of the beige and worked my way to a darker version. For the top part of the mask, I used a bigger brush because there was more space to cover and I wanted to make sure that it blends in perfectly. Whenever you're painting your mask, make sure to be diligent and not get any paint on the bottom part, but if you ever do, it's always fixable. Here is the top part and bottom part of the mask all completed and ready to add details. I had to use a very small brush just so I could get the gums perfectly without having to worry about getting pink paint on the teeth. I also decided to paint the mouth flap pink so that it would match the gums and it would look natural. Here are the gums all painted and pink. While I let everything on the mask dry, I decided to go in and work on the mesh eyes. For this, I use a technique called dry brushing to make sure nothing gets clumped and the paint doesn't clog up the holes. I decided to go in with a black color rather than a dark brown just so that it stands out more and the details pop. I decided to put the black details around the eyes and mouth area just to make them pop out and to show her features. While those dry, I'm going back to painting the eye mesh and making sure everything fits in perfectly to the mask. In her design, the eyes have a brown to green ombre, but I just decided to add a hint of green so that it wouldn't be too overbearing. Now that everything is dry, it is time to glue the mask together and get everything ready. I took out the eyepiece so that I could glue the eyes straight on because I want these eyes to be flat eyes, not follow me eyes. It was a bit difficult to get the eyes in because the hot glue kept seeping through the mesh and then coming off. Eventually, I did get the eyes to stay in and it was time to screw in the face piece and show you the final result. Here she is. Everyone meet Ezra. She's going to have ears soon and I'm excited to take you on that journey as well. Thank you guys so much for watching me make Ezra and get through all of the processes and sanding her and just working really hard So far, I'd say she's my best dino mask, but thank you guys for being there. Thank you for supporting me, and I love you all. Bye, my fellow floofs.